Hi guys, it's Misty. Welcome to another card video on my YouTube channel. I have a monochrome card to share with you today. The theme this week at Always Fun Challenges is monochrome. And once again, I've never done a card like this, or not that I can think of. So this was a good challenge for me. I decided to go with purples. And I'll list all the measurements over on my blog if you want to see what size I cut these to. But I'm going to go ahead and heat emboss some images on here, some floral images. So I'm using my anti-static tool. And I had a couple different floral options here because I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to use yet, what kind of image I wanted to use. So the ones I had in mind were a little bit too big for this size paper, so I switched it up at the end and decided to go with this image you see here on my hand. The stamp set is called Wildflowers by Concord and Ninth, and as always I'll have links to all the products I used in the description below and also on my blog. So I'm just going to go ahead and cover this card front with this image. And I'm making this a pretty easy, pretty basic card. I could have added some other little images in between here, but I wanted it to be pretty simple. So yeah, these little containers are great for embossing powder. Not so great when you tip it though, because it's definitely not airtight. So as you can see, I kind of made a mess of my embossing powder here. So I'm just going to add some white embossing powder to these images, and I just love I love it when you put embossing powder on. I love these images, how they pop out. So I thought this was really cool. Visually, I just like to watch this part. So I'm just using a little fine paintbrush here to get any stray embossing powder off of my card. And then I'm going to heat set it. If you've watched any of my recent videos, you'll probably notice that my last couple cards have been pretty quick and easy cards. And that's just because these boys of mine keep me pretty busy between sports and school and Halloween coming up. It's kind of crazy on my street for Halloween. So I've been trying to work on getting the road closed. But anyway, so I've just been busy. So quick and simple has been the way to go lately. All right, so I was going to use a couple different inks, and at the last minute, I decided to switch it up and use my trusty Distress inks here. I just wasn't liking the purples that I had, so yeah, so I switched it up to this milled lavender, which you can't, I mean, yeah, I guess you can see it. When I was making it, I wasn't sure you're going to be able to see it too good, but I didn't want much color. I just wanted some color because I'm going to go ahead and add a darker color in the center of these. So this is the milled lavender, and I was liking it until I kind of went out a little too far to the left there on that last one. But that's okay. My sentiment is going to cover that up. So that just made me decide where my sentiment was going to go. So now I'm just going to add some dusty Concord into the center of these flowers, make them a little bit darker, and bring them to life a little bit. What I really liked about this card is that I could do it with any color. So if I have time, I wanted to go back and make this card in several different colors. It was either going to be purple or like a teal or an aqua color. But the purple won out. But yeah, I want to go back and make a teal one. I mean, a pink one would look really cute. Any color would look cute. And you can easily change up the sentiment on all of them too. But this is easy enough that you can do that. So the bottom two layers I'm just gluing down. I'm not adding anything, but the top panel I'm going to go ahead and pop it up on some craft foam just to give it a little bit of dimension. And I usually cut my craft foam to, what do I usually cut them to? I think like 4 by 5 1/4. But it was a little bit too big for this, so just trimming off the excess. And I love this love dye. by Simon Says Stamp. So at first I really wanted to go with vellum. I wanted vellum on this card, but it just wasn't making the sentiment pop enough for me. So I decided to put it on white. Yeah, see the difference? I just think that pops much better than the vellum. But still going to use vellum, so I was okay with it. So the second part of my sentiment, I'm just going to have a little strip. And this part says, let's see, says, love you more each day. I really love the stamp set that coordinates with this die too. It has some really great sentiments. So again, I'm just adding some white embossing powder. Not tipping it this time. These little containers are perfect for embossing powder. It even fits, embossing powders don't come in that big of a container anyway, but you can fit a couple of them in there. So I think I combined all my super fine whites in one container, but I have them all each different color. I have them in those little containers, and then I have a big one of those that they all go in. So I actually have two of them. It's really perfect. I'll put, if I can find it, I'll put links to those as well down below. And the little sample spoons fit perfectly in the containers too, as you saw. So I'm just using one of these border dies to add a little detail to it. And then as always, I'm going to take a cleaning cloth and just wipe it off, brighten it up. I didn't color over it, but when I ran it through the die cutting machine, it had some paper little shreds on it. So, all right, and then I'm just using my handy 2A glue pen, which is perfect for these little word dies. I'm not sure if you guys have been following these wildfires, but it has been absolutely horrible around here. Not in Fort Bragg exactly, but in Sonoma County and Lake County and Mendocino County, there's just fires everywhere. My sister lives in Sonoma County, which is about 3 hours south of me, and they've been evacuated. She has these just crazy pictures from her bedroom window of the fire that's right behind their neighbor's house across the street from them. I mean, it's just crazy. And then they were evacuated, so last they heard, they still have a house, but it's pretty close to them. But Santa Rosa has just been devastated by this. I think they have, it's 34,000 acres that have burned. There's over 400 people missing and 31 people have lost their lives already. But it's under 10% contained. It's just crazy. Been doing a lot of praying for all the folks that are affected by this. So please add these people to your prayers. I know a few people that have lost everything. My sister was evacuated in the middle of the night, so they basically grabbed their dog and themselves, and that's it. Just horrible. Anyway, all right, so I put the love sentiment over the top of the vellum just to anchor the vellum a little bit. As you know, vellum is hard to glue down just because you can see wherever you put the glue. So I've put it over the top of the vellum, and then I'm going to add a little bit to the bottom as well with the clear droplets that I'm going to use. So I was going to use these little flat sequins that I am in love with, but I am also equally in love with Nuvo drops, so I ended up adding the Nuvo drops. But I wanted to add something to the flowers, so I used the clear droplets in the center of the flowers. Oh yeah, and then I just added some Spectrum Noir glitter pen to the word die. So here I'm just adding those clear droplets to the center of the flowers. And I almost used these flat sequins that you see, but it was really torn. Just wasn't quite sure which one to go with, but ultimately I went with the, there's a light purple Nuvo drops that I used. So this is why I use these clear droplets for the flowers, is because I wanted to have something to glue that vellum down at the bottom. So I have it half on the vellum and half off. It was just in the perfect place for it. So that's what made me decide to use these clear droplets in the center. And then this is the Nuvo drop. See, it's just a really light, translucent purple lilac, I guess. So I'm just going to add some of those here, there, and everywhere, and that's it. So if you want to join us at Always Fun Challenges, head over to my blog for details, and we have a new theme every week, and it's open to anyone that wants to participate. So thank you so much for watching this, and again, please keep all these people affected by the fires in your prayers, and I will see you guys next week. Thanks. Bye.